The king of all Saiyans. The history of all Saiyans is a tragic one. Planet Vegeta wasn't always their home planet. They lived on a different planet called Planet Sadala. Driven by their thirst to control that planet, it got destroyed, and the Saiyans migrated to Planet Vegeta. The Saiyans are no longer existing in Universe 7. They were driven to extinction, though in Universe 6, they're living, prospering, and living on their original planet, Planet Sadala, with its king, King Sadala. Those are all facts, but we never met the Universe 6 Saiyans. Now we're gonna explore a story called Dragonball Kakumei. I've dived into it before, but we're gonna dive into a part of the story which tackles the story of the Saiyans. And I'm not gonna tell you to watch it all. I'm gonna divide it into chapters. The chapter where Vegeta visits the planet, the chapter where he meets King Sadala, the chapter where King Sadala tells his story, and the other chapter where Vegeta acknowledges the king. The meeting of a prince and a king per se. So you can jump into any part of the story you want. What I want you to get out of this story is Vegeta is still the prince of all Saiyans, no matter where the Saiyans are. We've seen that with Kappa when he taught him Super Saiyan and how he cared for him in the Tournament of Power. And this meeting is interesting, although it's not canon. It's well made, well written, well illustrated, and it's worth watching in my opinion. So yeah, this is the story of the Saiyan who ruled all Saiyans, King Sadala. The story starts on Planet Sadala. Vegeta arrives to this planet seeking help because Goku was taken by the angels, and that's a different story which I dived into before. He's met by Kappa and Caulifla. Vegeta demands that they bring him to their king, and that doesn't suit Caulifla that well. Caulifla is angry. She launches herself with her anger at Vegeta, but he just transforms and knocks her out. This all is happening in front of Kale and Kappa. They can't do anything. At the end of the day, Vegeta is way stronger than them, and he didn't do that because of hatred. He did that because he is on a mission on this planet. He demands again that they take him to their king, and that's what they do. We see the palace of King Sadala. It's huge, and the technology used there, we've never seen the Saiyans have anything like it before, and it's just a magnificent sight to behold. Vegeta is happy. They get on in a ship, and he's talking to the one driving. He asks where Vegeta from. He says, I came from a different universe. In the middle of the flight, Caulifla wakes up, and she's not happy that they took her. She was making trouble. A while after that, within the palace, we see the king. His assistant says a strange individual claiming to come from another universe requests an audience. Fine. He's waiting in the main hall, and this is the first time we see King Sadala. As the door opens and he arrives at where Vegeta is, the king looks strong, and well, we don't know how strong he is. This is how I always imagined King Sadala being. His eyes meet Vegeta's as he walks towards him. Now they're face to face. They shake hands. Let me introduce myself. I am King Sadala, and you, what is your name? Vegeta. Prince Vegeta. The prince of all Saiyans now met the king of all Saiyans, King Sadala. The first time Vegeta in a long time met, well, a Saiyan with the blood of a king. The king asked him, I heard you came from another universe. What is your story? What are you doing in this place? Vegeta says, I have no time to lose with your stories. I came for listening to or telling a story is never a waste of time, is it? In that case, Vegeta says, tell me yours. I have never seen a palace built in depth. The king replies, well, there's a reason for that. Our people haven't always known peace. The story of King Sadala and the Universe 6 Saiyans begins. I don't know how Saiyans are in your universe, but in this one, we rule through submission and violence. Indeed, I was once an illustrious warrior, driven by my thirst for power and battle. We were just a wild race, our only essence being battles. We were losing our minds. Ancestral tales from our planet refer to monkey tales, but it seems that by the simple fact that we didn't use this power. We would have lost it over time. The people were divided, so King Sadala of this era proved once again his legitimacy by bringing the whole world together, by even interspecies alliances, and stood up to opponents thanks to his interpreting. At the beginning, I was just a simple army general, adhering to the king's ideals and supporting him. Through unmatched loyalty, I rose through the ranks and was recognized as the right-hand man of our king. The years passed, and from battlefield to battlefield, I saw my brothers in arms lose their lives, while my loyalty to the king grew stronger. I was used to seeing blood. Let the scar on my face be my witness. But this time was one too many. He called himself Gherkin the Bloody. He was the man who hated the king more than his own demons. Eternal runner-up, the king has beaten him once after the other. But to have spared this man was his fatal mistake. I couldn't bear it. The king lost his life to this man. Night and day, I hunted him down, driven by my hatred. But to my amazement, the relief I've taken by taking his life ultimately was an illusion. Taking his life didn't fill the void that I felt. I saw nothing but the emptiness of an endless tunnel. This shape that was engraved in my memory gave its shape to the current planet Sadala. Since the previous king Sadala hadn't sired any offspring, and because of my position, my people voted unanimously for me to succeed him. Even today, I can't look at myself without remembering all of my lost brothers. When I came to power, I vowed to change the ideas of our former king, to put an end to all of these childish wars, and to reunite our camps. The bread I wear, I make it every morning to remember it and stick to it. A Saiyan who doesn't stick by his convictions is a usurper. All this talk to tell you that I think I know why you came to us, but it will be without us. Goodbye. But he doesn't even finish the sentence. Vegeta interrupts him and says, I'm starting to understand. You are afraid of death. This shocks everyone, but before we get more into that, the story of those Saiyans, and the king of planet Sadala, resembles a lot that of the Saiyans in Universe 7, but the thing different about them is the Universe 6 Saiyans understood their wrongdoings, understood how they need to prosper, unlike the Universe 7 Saiyans. Back to the story, the king is also shocked. He's smiling. Vegeta starts kneeling and gets on his knees right in front of King Sadala and says, King Sadala, Father of Saiyans, I implore you, whatever we do, thousands will perish. It's up to us to act, so it's not our own. A king who doesn't keep his promises is a usurper. The king stands up. If someone has to act, it will not be you. Go on, young man, you interest me. Vegeta says, you've heard the same thing we all heard. So whether you like it or not, it will happen. And you should know that it's not just between the Saiyans. So here's my question. What will you do when the enemy enters your land? Welcome them with a white flag, as a pacifist as you want to be. If you are really one of those whose king you claim to be, your instinct will never allow you to do so. I can't guarantee that nobody will perish, but I swear to make each and every one of you my people, worthy of the name. I might not work miracles, but I will make sure that all of us can look after our own. There's a lot of hidden potential among you, I'm sure about that. This speech isn't just a speech to deceive them, it's really what Vegeta thinks and believes. He loves those Saiyans, he loves them like they are his own. The Prince of all Saiyans doesn't care if the Saiyan is from Universe 6 or 7, he loves them no matter what. With these words, King Sadala gets angry and powers up. His power is unreal, and we can see it on his face that Vegeta's words got to him. Vegeta just stands there as everyone is watching the king's power unleash. He just looks at Vegeta. Gather the whole of Sadala's special forces. I'll announce them. Vegeta smiles. You won't regret it. While the king is leaving, he turns around and says, I don't live with regret. Saiyan. The whole of planet Sadala gathers. Listen to me all. This is a call to all special forces. What about the Sadala Saiyans? Will Vegeta be able to prove its legitimacy to everyone? Will this chapter of the story ends with Vegeta standing side by side with the King of all Saiyans in front of all the Universe 6 Saiyans, while he proved to the King and to everyone that he knows what's best for all Saiyans, that no matter what happens, he will always love the Saiyans wherever they are. And this was an interesting part of the story, a part that we haven't seen in the Dragon Ball Super canon timeline, because we never dived into the Saiyans of Universe 6. I mean, never, except a couple of them. But we never seen them, we never seen their king, we never dived into their history that much. And this is why I like this story, because it dives into those parts that we haven't seen in the main story of Dragon Ball Super. And yeah, this was the story of Vegeta in Universe 6 and him meeting King Sadala of Universe 6. Tell me what you all think of this story. And yeah, thank you for watching. Leave a like and subscribe, it will really help me out a lot, and I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.